Good day, Paul Sterling here, and I am coming to you from my Colorado summer retreat place right now, and wanted to talk to you today about something really important. And so I'm taking a break. This is a Saturday, and I'm headed inside now so we can talk about relationships. Relationships, when they work, can be the most magical, magnificent thing. They can lift you up, make you feel really alive. And when they're not working, they can bring you down and destroy your self-esteem, take you to your knees. So let's go inside now and figure out what's going on in relationships. Well, welcome back. We're now inside. I'm going to go through some details on this chart. I also have a bunch of notes over here, so I'll be looking over here, because I want to make sure that I cover everything I need to cover. So what we're going to do is talk about a key subject. Most relationships don't end because of a lack of love. They end because the relationship, the couple, runs into a problem that's bigger than their skill set, and they get stuck. They get stuck in something I call a downward spiral, where things end up getting worse and worse, and they don't know how to get out. They don't know how to break that downward cycle. And what I do is I'm a relationship coach, and I work with people to help them have a breakthrough in that, help them turn that downward spiral into an upward spiral. There's three basic groups. So there's that first group that come because they want to know, can this relationship be saved? Is it worth saving? And can I do it? So there's that group who wants to save their relationship. The second group isn't in as big a dire strait. They're having a conflict that they can't crack through, or a misunderstanding, or they don't know how to get their needs met in this relationship. So I help them get clear on that and develop some strategies. And then there's a third group, and that group is a group of people that are lovers that have a good relationship and want to take it from good to great. And I help them do that. They're all fun to work with. Some are just more intense. So at the end of this video, if you want to know more about how to do this, how to work through this particular interesting model that I'm going to describe in a minute, I will tell you details on how to do that. Let me start with a tiny bit of my history. I didn't start out to be a relationship coach. In fact, I started out, there's an expression that says most masters start out as a disaster. And I definitely started out as a relationship disaster. I went through one divorce and 3 broken engagements, and it broke my heart. And I began to feel like there was something wrong with me. What was I doing? What was wrong with me that kept destroying these relationships? And part in it. And then I started learning more about relationships. So it was either master relationships or become a monk, and I chose to master it. So I was lucky enough to study with some amazing mentors. And the first one that really was life-changing for me was a guy named Tony Robbins. And Tony taught me about how do you change your habits, patterns, and beliefs. And if you look at what creates problems in relationships, it's our habits, patterns, and beliefs. So learning how to change them was monumental. The second person who was very influential on me is a guy named Marshall Thurber. Now Marshall, at the time, was studying under a guy named Dr. Deming. Deming taught the Japanese about quality and productivity. And what Deming was a master of is the systems and making the systems visible. Normally what we do is look at the symptoms, not the systems. And what I've tried to do is look at the system of relationships. The symptoms are the misunderstandings, the upsets, the conflicts, the broken hearts, the loss of passion, intimacy. And so now when you understand the system, you can turn that around and you can create a communication system, which leads me to my third mentor, another Marshall, which is odd. There was Marshall Thurber, and there was also Marshall Rosenberg. And Marshall Rosenberg created something called nonviolent communication. And adding communication to it, so it's learning how to change your habits, patterns, and beliefs, looking at the system of relationships, and then creating communication. And with that communication that I learned from Marshall Rosenberg, I was able to not only in my life change things, but help other people change things. To create a method of communication where you can enter somebody else's world and feel a level of intimacy and connection, where both of you feel heard, understood, and valued. And I got good at it, and it transformed my relationship, and other people were curious about it. And I ended up, for the last 7.5, 8 years, I volunteer at prison, and I teach anywhere from minimum to maximum security inmates about how to communicate differently, because most problems in people's lives are problems around communication, because the quality of your relationship is based on the quality of your communication, and when the communication falls apart, so does your relationship. So I work with inmates. I also, Goodwill brought me into the Denver School District to work with at-risk students, and at one point one of the students came up to me after just a short class, and she said, "Mr. Sterling, before this class, I didn't know that my parents, or my mom actually, had feelings and needs." And then I've worked with professors and therapists. The Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado brought me in for a weekend to teach their professors and staff about this communication method. And it impacted them greatly, and some of them actually ended up becoming clients of mine because they wanted to work deeper than just what was happening there in the course. So that's the main part. Well, actually, no, the main part is working with couples. And I've written a book on it called Stop in the Name of Love. I have MP3s that are the Magic Relationship Method. And I've created something called the Relationship Breakthrough Session. And what that is for people who want to have an experience of this. It's a 45-minute to an hour-long session that helps people do three things. Number one, it helps them get clear where they are, what's working and what's not working in their relationship, and what do they want to change. And when I say change, what that means is something's happening in their relationship that they want to stop, or something's not happening in the relationship that they want to start. And I worked with one couple in this, and they had a problem that for 22 years she had held a grudge over something he had done. And in 2 hours, and she came in pretty upset, like she was ready for divorce, arms crossed. There was no way things were going to turn around. And in 2 hours, it went from there to that night. It was the first time they cuddled in 4 years. So getting clear, number one, clear where you're at, what do you want to change? Number two is where do you want to be 60 to 90 days from now? And number three, what's in the way? What's stopping you? And sometimes what happens to get from here to here, you need somewhat of a roadmap. And so that's what this is for at some levels. What's the roadmap for a healthy relationship? And there's three main components. So component number one is friend. So is your partner a friend? And friend has three components in it. They're loyal, they're understanding, they're compassionate. So friend, lover, partner. So lover, there's three parts to that too. It's romantic, it's passionate, it's intimate. Like what's happening? Is there intimacy? How's your sex life? And then the third thing is, does it feel like you have a partner? Does it feel like you have a friend, a lover, and a partner? And when all of these three are in place, you have an awesome relationship. And with a partner, there's three parts to that. Vision, values, goals. Do you have similar vision, value, goals? Do you have, do you feel supported? Do you feel like you're on a team? And it's interesting because some people come to me and they've got one or two of these components. A lot of times for marriages, they have friendship and partnership, but they've lost the lover. Other times they have friendship and lover, and that's called friends with benefits. If they just have friends, it's called a roommate. If they just have a partner, it's called a business relationship. And if they just have a lover, it's called a booty call. And I think what you want is one that has all three of them. The other thing I go through, so we get clear where you're at, then we get clear on are your needs getting met. And for most people, when they come to me, there's one or two of the 6 core needs. There's 6 core needs, and there's plenty of other ones, but 6 core needs. Which ones aren't getting met, and a strategy to get them met. And then we also go through the 3 skills. There's 3 main skills that you need to make a relationship work a long time. Number 1, how to clear up the past so the past doesn't show up in the present. Number 2 is how to connect and be present so that your lover feels like they're, at least for that moment, a priority in your life. They're significant. They're the center of your universe for that moment. They feel totally loved and adored by you. And the third skill is, how do you create a bright future? So let me just tell you, if this interests you, there's some groups that it works with and some that it doesn't. What I don't work with, I'll tell you that first, is if there's physical abuse, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, emotional abuse. What that is, that has a huge impact on the relationship, but that's not a relationship issue. That individual that's doing that, they need individual work. They need a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, someone to work with them to help them resolve that issue so they're not taking it out on you. And if you're in one of those relationships, I would seek help and probably get out of the relationship, unless that person's making very big strides to transform it. So that's who it doesn't work for. Who it does work for is people that have conflicts that they want to learn how to resolve them quickly and easily, so that breakdowns lead to breakthroughs rather than breakdowns leading to divorce and separation. People who want to learn how to clear up misunderstandings quickly and compassionately and confidently. People who want to be able to figure out what their needs are and ask for them in the relationship, and figure out what your partner's needs are and be able to give them in the relationship, to create a relationship that is magical, that is magnificent. Now, relationships, I'm sad to say it, are work. And this is work. And you need to learn some new habits, patterns, and beliefs. So if this interests you, what you need to do is, and this is how you can learn more about this, is go to magicrelationship.net/session, SESSION. And what you do there is, there's 7 questions. It's a 7-question survey, because I want to make sure, number one, is there a problem that you have that I can help you solve? As a coach, there's only a certain amount of problems that I work with. And I want to make sure of that. So that, and then after you fill out the survey, go to fill out, there's it's called Time Trade. And on Time Trade, if there's appointments, because I only do so many appointments each month. I think it's like about 10 appointments a month. And they're complimentary. They're free of charge. And why do I do it complimentary? Before I agree to work with you, I want to make sure that, number one, it's a problem that I can work on, that I can help you with. And number two, I want to find out if you're a fit, if you're someone I want to work with. And number three is, I want you to figure out whether I'm someone you want to work with. So here's what you do. If you're interested, go to magicrelationship.net/session, fill out the 7-question survey, find a time slot. Now, if there isn't any time slots left this month, what happens is you'll go on my list, and then at the beginning of next month, I will let you know first that the time slots have opened up, and you got a chance. So you got to jump on them as soon as they're open up, because I have several thousand people on my mailing list that are avid readers and watch the videos, and I only do about maybe 10 slots a month. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time and energy. This is an amazing model. Take a look at it, and I look forward to talking to you soon. magicrelationship.net/session. Thank you.